maba the biggest library ever Helsinki, Finland, a friend Audi. I mean, baby, she Ghana neighbor, or more the Finnish parliament, or parliamentary correspondent. Now, I mean, be discussing NPP, raise or China Ebatuno, either Sebeko Ken, and as Sebeko Bawumia. Now, my side when I change because you need him say, John Dramani Mama, the NDC for a unit. Nti obesa mama na dwen kire say DNA obe expect from your mama so nya kwan be the next president. Nti mo me international na me ne kwatwetwe nkomo aka me nua Kelvin no ha o ye Ghana ni a o te Helsinki ha o represent parliamentary cause me nua na bibia bokode
o bibia bokova
the me ase aja na maba bi sia o Helsinki the biggest library o ha na o ye Ghana ni de pese me bisa on sem kakra bi fa a Ghana battle abekoso ho program one hour with Monufi and well being now a live on YouTube at the same time a live on Facebook and so NPP for Boka Koto about China. Now so far the unipa 4 or more lady reason. But out of the 4 no Kennedy Agyapong and era the current vice president Alhaji Dr Bawumia. Nipa 2 is why now we say Ghana for Tobamana Ebeboa.
Of Ahmedasi. Alhaji Dr Bawumia in credentials and Honorable Kennedy Agyapong in credentials. But then the issue is so auto question is Juan as ye to about the man ebeboa na say ye share more capacity against the current needs of our economic situation now. On our capacity.
Okay.
And many as it
but I just wanted to make it general. Say,
yeah,
I bring nipa two no who saying. Then you have fat ubia strength, and I say we take our time now for the discuss young cause I say because Alhaji Dr Bawumia and then an Dango for the current president. I ruled the nation for the last 7 years. And to Ghana for him, Alhaji Dr Bawumia, the performance. Kennedy Agyapong so at parliament over 20 years. And to being a normal parliamentarian, and so Ghana for who a juma and also ultimate. Let me just put it down. Your bad job creation. If we say sign up to no, why na? Why dream no? Ubit my boy, Tim before.
I mean, say a question, a very good question, and a very technical question. So, Kennedy Agyapong, you say, or a very astute business guy. Ghana. And saying Wabi a starch factory, right?
Yeah.
And we all understand say the employment quotient now at the ban numerous. Okay. And so see him say Dr. Bawumia so the capacity as the vice president has served several policies in conformable benefit. Okay. Free education in the boss idea, but I execute it to that level I was saying. And the president do not shy away from that. They be our money that crediting. Into MPP for or more 2 very distinguished candidates. But I said, you didn't maybe so to 2 horses. Ghana for about wow, would no man have visa Ghana for Ghanaians yeshe beyond Sanya Mano. Usubano it is saying
the Okase Subanya, what do you mean by Subanya? Because Ubia when the personal lifestyle a private 10 hour. What do you mean by say Kase Subanya? Because nipa 2 no, I don't think say Kennedy Agyapong a papa when you know Alhaji Dr Bawumia so yinim Samira Bawumia and yinim Ramatu Bawumia but only that is what I've heard. Aside these 2 no, I think say we need to look at them from a Juma mind that your mansa. And then capacity to meet my deliver to become the president.
Okay. Indeed, the mommy analyze it or capacity na fi infanto. Inti Ken ekita that kind of capacity na. I mean, ubetimi akasi ampa se hwenima ye na onya bigger stage in the platform na he could do more. Right?
Okay.
Inti Ken obi nyuma na or show promise say onya the biggest platform now he can do well.
Yes.
Okay. Vice is also Dr. Bawumia also no. Ihunema bebre sa 2 terms here omunya omutimi gu pomaso. I mean, they've not been able to meet the aspirations of each and every Ghanaian. Omuntimi but omu enya impact kakra on the economy. Maybe omeda to tupja. To say 1 district, 1 factory, any animal.
Don't you think all these kind of things in a just slogan? Because I understand where you're coming from, because it seems to be say we are NPP because baby over Finland, you're able to enter the parliament and I'll correspond to free. So you know a lot of things. See, because or be or the policy about 1 district, 1 factory. I also do any who and I say was say papers on kwa.
Okay. A honor so a little bit tricky because never be brave or more person or more that is a buy with person we through the 1 district 1 factory and any nana or meet me either MET others or my be and it can be physically seen in those constituencies now or more any man. I hope say Nanka previous governments no mobile and also so yes 1 district 1 factory in Kakra. I mean in the next 50 years no Ghana ni be anywhere so 2 point.
Okay.
Inti we no a hint of leadership say mutimi de niema bi to say 1 district 1 factory need to talk former senior abrochi memu ha no niema bebre wo ho a timemufo no and struggle for a new benya and possibly in their daily bread. It is a who's a science way a memoir kosuya. I believe you said and say omotwaswa a time will come no sa unemployment difficulties and challenges na Ghana for Asia no a bit to make sure. And as I said, Mami be clear. I just believe say I just believe we should get leadership on bit me a Ghana for if we ahunchrim and about say Mahama be and I say Dr. Bawumia na Kennedy Agyapong honor na say share temperament ni nyansa ye de leadership role be share nsa no otimi de sa kakra na owo no ye adwuma. And if entrusted with a bigger opportunity, no bit my more. Into me no dear, me feel say between Kennedy Agyapong and Dr. Bawumia a choice of what is needed into the future. Now we share what is needed into the future now. Kennedy are cover 50, Bawumia also cover 50. And you see another delegates in on choose.
Okay. Baba, and say we a delegate office and Gahana one Kazabato Banamano.
Memo dear, sa angle dear tricky too.
It seems you are finding it difficult to say Bawumia money home money, but can abandon because when about job creation, will be our just a mere member of parliament. Let's make it over 7,000 physical jobs a day anymore. And yeah, as our job, it is a NAPCO, and yeah, as our job, it is a 1 district 1 factory, and yeah, as our job, it is a 1 village 1 dam. You know, this kind of idea I would do when you can say home.
Also, I say, yeah, as you say 1 village 1 dam, and it's
yeah, because Ghana, this is be our a factory, yes, you are. Yeah, buyers.
But
get it on paper.
But at least, you agree saying name be a kosu.
Me kasa buying them money home money. I buy na EPPB. But it's saying okay free SHS. Under John Mama and a day students. But the current president in Bombay no more buying boarding school for you now back now. Into a step in the right direction because he a building nation.
Say Monufie. The issue here is that if funny part me in some way are possibly they will be on the ticket of one of these political parties now. Say ebe kind of creature one Bawumia no was save Ukraine. Sika bebre.
Oh damn.
At least me as a reporter say meet me attested to mobile operability, no.
Mobile interoperability, no.
Okay.
Yes.
Nti
Do you think say?
no say o de ma memro.
Okay.
No say
Yeah.
o hwe sika na komodi shim. I build that software sa platform na.
Yeah.
Na obehwe say omunya opportunity to be in governance na fe sa sika no so. Sa sika na ke almost 4.6 billion na ke see di shim na fe atiaba 4.6 million na. We are talking about someone who has saved. Na esa ni ye culture na ye wo bibi memory. Technology and I said digital access. And a bit me kind of corruption na emma development in the various places are a very expected in the country. It is a papa na dream with me. I initiated all these kind of digital platforms, not cutting down on the loopholes. Asika, for baby now. With time, we'll be able to mobilize enough and get all the structural facelift.
So my question still remains, say, when you have a government and a policy in on paper, but ain't existing.
Say any day una watch your word say
because
on paper, but name say name baby or at least a bit I'm on 65.
So you were Minister of Information and Communication. Do you think that it takes the Vice President, who by convention is the head of the economic management team, and there's already mobile interoperability back?
Oh, on say to you, yeah, kind of correct. Me, I mean, well, when you said me age more parliament, you know, we had chance to see how structures and process are leading to policies in Yamana Eba from the executive honor, or the braille or more members now, or more supporting government, no more heading a boosty, a pushy,
yes,
in parliament, as I say,
yes,
executive in Obia will rule. Presidency, the main president in Ankasaya Nanado, or no, I want not to know much responsibilities.
Yes,
as I say, Bawumia rule now or as economic management team. One them is to see say how do we mobilize internal funds.
Okay.
Sinebea Western world, want me all the amounts na at least with the internal funds, we'll be able to get a lot of these deficits na NTP meeting, we'll be able to clear them. And I believe he's been able to put in place this structures that make that borders on digitalization. He's been able to ensure that these are in place to cut down on these loopholes that has to do with corruption. And by that, in the last 4 years now, she's me easy internally. And that is what has given the likes of the IMF and the World Bank the confidence that they will vote the 3 billion loan facility. Inti ononi juma ena ama all these things not very possible. And bear with me, the current situation in the world globally, tough for all economists.
Okay,
the politics need to aside that the current economic situation going on in the world is very, very difficult for everybody. It takes smart
politicians,
smart policies, persons who can understand the trend and provide solutions that meets the needs of these trends. And of course, vice presidents actually say when given a bigger platform, it's my better. Kennedy Agyapong 7,000 jobs now are creating because of not buying away our man structures.
No, because
on the structures now, or maintain creative structures now. 7,000.
I don't personally agree with you from that angle. Abusha for programming one with Monofi na Helsinki, Finland. The state's library, the biggest library Helsinki, Finland, all the programming. So who's in the picture that might be the cause. That's of course we are just on our show. When you say things like that, honestly, I don't agree with you. Because say you talk Obama are buying say on for better policies more. And if Sa aban bi ba na make it the system okay for anybody to operate. Anka madwe mu de obona omode. But looking at ensema Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo kaye ansa na mba beje kunwa we the last 7 years na. They virtually say Ghana enko IMF. Da Bawumia mo kan say enko IMF. In fact, finance minister and deputy finance minister in parliament and then o kan say enko parliament o china need in parliament. Bawumia kan che Ghana for say momo tax no here for the use momo tax or can now or china implement momo tax. Don't you think say this kind of people no see jai the whole nation is almost sama omo de throwing nada and say mine.
Well, argument na whole fronting. So shit. So argument we so in the more be a chance for we are swimming. Fortunately, and I think that me know is saying you have a soft spot for Mahama and his comeback. I will agree say argue in this front now. The Ghana front is very dirty. Mahama. Then the neutral very woman will be Kennedy Agyapong, right? And you definitely will have to survey the gravity of risk these two people when given the responsibility on a risk level, the impact it had on the general health of our economy. In terms of Ghana for Nkoshe, in case way a bad way good. Oshe John Mahama or be born a homoding.
Yes.
I Oshe say but Nanado Bawumia, because it is based on Nanado Bawumia leadership and I'm gonna for wedding. I be judge Bawumia into
not really, because you got to about Vice President Dean Emma ticket and so.
But say vice president.
Yeah, but you to about more we na be Vice President by law no you more Juma Kesimi, you know. One, Vice President in Ghana no, on head of the Ghana Police Board. Then by convention also we're head of the economic management team. But when we look at these two portfolios, like Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I can tell you so I feel it too, Nina.
That's nice. I mean, it's good that we're honing that way. But me, I think we should leave this kind of things to Ghanaians to decide.
Okay, but we are Ghanaians, internet should tell you decide.
Also, I'm looking at it from
delegates now.
But policies now are affecting the lives of our people. To Ghana for now, I won't mean control. Now, I won't mean control in the sense that Ghana for Beshe say Mahama transition-free vice president. Na ordinary who sees Jose Yentun Swaba Nombe Mampenino. Ghana for share near Waye and on the man.
Yes.
Jose Papa Mahama no or making commentaries be said Unya the position to lead either as a vice president or as a president that inti men kasati said the unim. Once they say and about me being a position but serving as the vice president. When you see here, one make a comment say technically and I see him say obey vice president your rules are the show police shall I say, interior ministry shall I say, economic management team.
Yes.
All right, what does the last one mean? Last one you say a DBI the economy of the country, president I see one say yes. Inti say economy in Korea one overhead
vice president.
You see him saying he said within the last 8 years now in Kofowe atina banyeso na vice president na was steer the economy now up to this stage. Yemfa and no enko to two. Fama ye papa Mahama so waso no ye.
Yes.
Na yenhwe intro ni no kre sa ne mani ya plus and minus na fe engineer no so. Then yenhwe make a decision.
All right.
This is not the best time I ever can say. We actually for that reason. So anima our face is two-way, We should
for now, we cannot basically say because NPP be quite trouble watching.
Yeah.
Until you ever say showdown or second Japan, the Bawumia so na ebe butu Ken we ever.
Yeah.
Until what year you more parliament
Yes.
Finland.
Yes.
You understand how good governance works.
Yes.
What dream on? Maybe say on job creation, but I know say on job creation they can ability allow to my mood Bawumia from that angle. To the extent say why not you presenting and say nipa two no NDC de John Dramani mama. NDC de John Dramani mama ne. Na NPP for no why na presenting na officer ko fesi mama ebe you cool chop so bit my way mama nipa two no.
To be very honest, say because we share ni presenting a be cool chopper mo be na visa. Then you have to look at the opposite number, which is John Mahama.
Mm-hmm.
John Mahama is here on the ground. Can I fire margins on the Bemani Bumana?
Yes, for now the Ghana fire is only the margin the money but NPP ne person be am so be ni pa.
Ghana for your margin say the Bema John Mahama.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say the conversation of who MPP will bring, will not even come in here. Because no matter the candidates be producing, kind of why imagine that that's what imagine Mahama.
Mm-hmm.
But me, me can't say we saw a memo between the contest that is about to take place, that is Mahama and Bawumia.
Why do you think say Mahama and Bawumia? Are you trying to tell me today say yen to abanakura Bawumia when it can?
No, a bit to me say o do aso to ho a o take nyama yakoso. I want to just say you may be informations be pre.
Internet based on information when you say baby mama Bawumia.
Say me teach nyama yakoso na. Presidency and yet say we creating nyama nko and important. Say maybe beyond that, the temperament of the person and everything like that.
Because you seems to be.
It's on you say Kennedy in a way, me offer. So when say
okay,
me papa a brother, a direct cousins to Kennedy Agyapong. Me papa.
So you think that Kennedy need the qualities of becoming a president
at this moment? Okoyi Kennedy. Okay. But then the message you are sending out is that Bawumia ambon homodi ewo leadership responsibilities na
and for that matter another fail.
And when that hint is given out, it becomes easy for the opposing side to walk through.
But it happened that because when Kufuor Efris, Aliu Mahama contested, but he was the vice president, but yet Kufuor winning.
Because that meant to say the delegates at that time felt to say Nana had more of a capacity.
Now, why do you think so? For now, they say Kotobama can another failure.
That is
because you seem the one person of kind of
that is where I'm
because you being a journalist, you are telling me say listen to me also. You are telling me say during the era of Kufuor, the vice president Aliu Mahama contested and another winning.
Right.
The delegates felt that Nanado was more capable of taking over the mantle from Kufuor. But Kennedy said Bawumia can question then say Toma Kena I said Nanado failure.
You cannot tell.
That is what you were trying to mean.
You cannot really tell that. The leadership style of Aliu Mahama is not the same as we see of Dr. Bawumia.
How?
I mean, you name the assertiveness, the creativity.
The only good thing about Bawumia is that is the only difference between Bawumia and
Saturday, no. Delegates in the consider they'll speak to the fact.
All right. I was there for 1 hour with Munufi NA or the biggest library in Helsinki. I think even in the whole of Finland.
Yeah, the whole
a friend of Audi. Or the city center of Helsinki. Behind us, the Finnish parliament or the whole Najamako community, and then across the Kwanya and then about. And he discussed NPP Chinaba to Nebaka Kotono, when office obey me, but me, I diabolic because I think so soft spot ma, I'll hide the Tamamud Bomi and to impress over Kano Krenankaza. Meanwhile, the last question I'm on this topic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Abeye Vice President. Abeye President. Ghana fought about 2 terms. Basambe Wenyaba or Siaba. Sinyami mana kwanya no Obeye President na. What do you expect of him?
You know, Mahama, when I was standard, a nice guy, you know, he's tasted both sides of the leadership. First, the vice, and then the president is concerned. Oba, you know, obe rolling out policies of force in the beboa ama your system, no. The system or high economy, because it talks about security, the
job creation, education, everything. I understand.
Mahama, ebe tutu, na kwanya force na ebe buama nema go to the direction of the country. Na edru se Ghana for ebe to no so aba na watwa the presidency ni so ni. Ohwe response na Ghanaians na de mai na. That means sa period na no oye the head of state. Amofo say name bia audit to na kwen na enye so much what will help direct their future. Because the masses, no, they speak through the ballot. So what I say. And if the masses vote for you massively, I just say what you did, they acknowledge it, right?
Yes.
The fact is that Maham Ekufuor Omba Bemudana, if you all try for maybe like the third time, na Oshe the vote differentials na or the BT an incumbent Mahama na. It tells you say Ghana for they didn't like something about Mahama. And the numbers we are talking about is in the millions. The big question here is, over 1 million. The last election, you say about somewhere around 500.
500.
Okay. 500, about 5%, right? Because 100,000 be 1%, right? Now, Mahama and the team are more around him. They should rally around that figure. In that, what are we going to do to get this 500,000 people believing in us despite the so-called poor leadership we are seeing in the second term of the NPP administration? What can they do? What can Mahama do to really convince Ghanaians to say, I'm part me over 1 million and I say about 500,000. Nema woman am ye na me for say man tiasie. Inti matoto sa nema we munye. I mean opportunity now. I'll do better because me hu inti me ba me de to I'll know how to now get it. So far no, that communication has not really come from that side. And I hope you say if Mahama is to get opportunity to lead the country, and before that opportunity is presented again, he should have that crack team that will exploit that possibility for the present government to use against him. Say, yes, I didn't get this thing right, but during my time, no, this was the capacity that I had. And that's the reason why I couldn't get these things done.
Yes.
But looking at the current situation, no, I think these structures is there. So when I come, I'll be able to feel in these things that I couldn't do in the previous time. And Mahama should just be honest about it. And because I've said with the culture here, so to me, not to use the word so to me kind of crap, but like if you are very open about things, then you can for Philly Kennedy Agyapong is here and they say, Ghana,
more open and
straightforward, open, and your culture and your penny bisa. I'm looking at a Mahama bouncing back from that deficit. No one has a openness is so big. So bit may be that part of his style now. That part of his leadership quality. So Ebeboa Ghana for me. Atinas here. So Mahama tiniti sa 500,000 so cry. or reducing by 300,000. I'm telling you, a round off on Mahama Befa. Because that 200,000, no, so 2%, no, almost 2 million, right?
Yeah.
And it could be people who have soft heart for the likes of Alan Chamantin, or people, not Kennedy Agyapong as such, but people who have support for Alan Chamantin and those neutrals who feel say they have Sankoma Mahama. I wouldn't say neutrals no more a system in your political voting structures. Omono to decided the presidency.
Omono from roughly floating voters. So I think I side with you.
They are the kingmakers, you know, because NPP for no more supporters, no matter how bad the thing is, no better on party. And this is so neutrals no more medium. More dear, or more say any man who cast obey and who capacity.
So betting and implemented. All right.
Yeah.
Nti medase say ne wanyamre amamena ya babishia nti nyame adma message bi ne ya jaba twenkyere.
That's the power of I said wait me atwa me wahana edi sanko.
All right.